Dear students, welcome to this MOOC. MOOC stands for Massive Open Online Course. In this MOOC, we shall be providing you a variety of multimedia enriched e-content, activities and assessments in a very learner friendly manner so that you are able to understand the various topics of this course very well. Let me now tell you briefly about the structure and main features of this MOOC. The entire MOOC has been divided into various weeks so that you can plan your learning in a very logical and systematic manner. It is advised that you must actively participate in the various components of this MOOC, that too regularly on a weekly basis. For every weekly schedule, you are first advised to watch 2 to 4 videos assigned to you per week. Then you must read the learning material provided as e-text and also go through other content in the Learn More section. After this, you are advised to carry out the various activities like taking part in the discussion forums, visiting the related web links which we have provided for you, attempting crosswords, etc., earmarked for each week. After this, to test your knowledge of what you have learned during this week, you must attempt the quiz in the assessment section for that particular week. I wish you all the best in this very interesting self-learning experience. Please remember, we shall always be there with you to provide you support for any problems you face. The MOOC coordinator along with junior faculty as tutor shall always be available to solve your queries which you can post in the discussion forums or you can send them to us through mail which shall be notified to you soon. We would be very happy to know your experience after the completion of this MOOC in the form of your feedback which will help us enhance the quality of this MOOC further. Dear students, after knowing the general structure of this MOOC, let us now understand what all you shall be studying in a week-wise manner in this course on Forensic Ballistics by the MOOC coordinator Dr. G.S. Sodhi.
Dear students, welcome to this course on Forensic Ballistics for postgraduate students. This course, which you are supposed to complete in 15 weeks, has been developed in a very systematic and logical manner. In the first week, you will be introduced to the field of forensic ballistics, in which you will be studying about the history of firearms and also about ammunitions. This week will completely emphasize on making you familiar with how firearms came in India, about the primitive and modern weapon types, types of barrels, and also about freak firearms. In the ammunition section, you will be studying about small arms, what constitutes a cartridge. Also, you will get to know what is primer, propellant, etc. After you have studied the introduction, in the second week, you will be told about the classification of firearms. Firearms can be classified on various bases such as the type of barrel it has, the firing mechanism on which it works, etc. So here you will get to know how the classification is done based on the type of barrel, and hence in this week you will be made familiar with classification of rifled firearms and smoothbore firearms and improvised weapons. In addition to it, you will also be studying the difference between a rifled and smoothbore firearm and also study about improvised firearms. Students, the third week will encompass about the various types of mechanisms by which a firearm operates. That is, in this week, you will be told about firing mechanisms, which will simultaneously include both the manual as well as automatic mechanism of firing. By mechanism, we mean that how a specific object works. So keeping this in view, you will be told about how cartridges are loaded and fired from the firearm and how this mechanism differs both in case of manual as well as in automatic type. Forensic ballistics can be defined as the application of knowledge of ballistics to aid in criminal investigation. Therefore, with this parameter, it is not only important for you to know about the basics of firearm, but also how firearm or its part can be identified when the latter is of issue in a particular crime. So, in the fourth week, you will be studying about principles of identification of firearms, wherein you will be also told about identification and comparison of bullets and cartridge cases, and also how various instruments and techniques are being employed in this process. The field of forensic ballistics has been divided into three categories, namely internal, external, and terminal ballistics. In the fifth week, you will be studying about internal ballistics. Internal ballistics is the study which deals with the motion of projectiles in the bore of the weapon, whereas external ballistics deals with the flight from the muzzle of the weapon to the target. In this, you will also study how pressure, shape of the cartridge case, density of loading, strength of barrel, and so on affect the overall firing mechanism of a firearm. Moreover, you will also get to know what bullet jump are and bullet vibration, and also what happens when barrel failures occur. In the sixth and seventh week, you will be made familiar with the second categorization of forensic ballistics, which is external ballistics. In this, you will be studying how you can calculate the trajectory parameters, which is escape velocity, and how trajectory is affected about bullet spin and drift, and also about yaw and stability. The eighth week shall be a revision and assessment week for you. In this week, you are supposed to revise what all you have learnt in this course over the past 7 weeks. We will give you assignments which you are required to submit in time. Please note that the marks obtained by you in these assignments shall count towards your grades in this course. Dear students, after you have studied about internal and external ballistics, in the 9th week, you will be studying about terminal ballistics. Terminal ballistics deal with behavior of the missile, that is a projectile, once it hits the target. In this, you will be studying about penetration potential, concept of wound ballistics, and you will also get to know what happens when a projectile hits a glass surface, that is regarding its penetration potential. You will also be studying about ricochet and the various other factors which influence the wounding capability and much more. The 10th week will introduce you to gunshot residues or GSR. GSR are unburnt or partially burnt particles, gases, non-volatile substances coming from primer, propellant, bullet and firearm. You will also be studying about how GSR is produced, what all chemical constituents are present, and how can the chemical analysis is carried out. You will also get to know about the proper collection methodology of these residues. The 11th week, titled as Instrumental Methods of GSR Analysis and Shotgun Ballistics, will now make you know more about how instrumental techniques such as NAA, XRF and SEM-EDX are used to analyze specific chemical components present in gunshot residues. In this week, you will also learn about shotgun ballistics, wherein you will be studying about firing mechanism, recoil, pellet spread pattern, stringing, etc. This will be followed by the 12th week, where you will learn about identification and nature of firearm injuries and gunshot injuries. In this week, you will be made familiar with the various types of injuries, such as how and what type of injuries are caused by the projectiles, about through and through wounds. In addition to this, you will also be studying about how rifle firearm injuries can be characterized, and also about entry and exit wounds. Moreover, you will also get to know how gunshot injuries are caused and how it has been classified into 4 types, that is contact, near contact, intermediate range and distant injuries. After you have studied about injuries caused by firearm, in the 13th week you will be studying about wounds caused by rifled weapons, wherein you will be learning about the difference in injuries caused by a rifled and smooth bore firearms, about velocity factor and handgun injuries. Moreover, you will also learn how rifled wounds have been classified into 4 types: the low velocity rifles, the sporting rifles, the service rifles, and last but not the least, the assault rifles. In addition to this, you will also be learning about the shattering effect of bones and the wounding phenomena. In the 14th week, you will be studying about crime scene reconstruction, accidental cases of firearm discharge, and evidences in firearm related cases. Therefore, in this week, you will be learning about how you can differentiate between whether it was a murder, suicide, or fake injuries. Furthermore, you will also be studying about what are the causes for accidental discharge of firearm. In addition to it, you will also be learning about what all evidences should be searched in for in case of non-recovery of weapon and a lot more. The 15th week shall also be a revision and assessment week for you. Here also you will be given assignments which you are required to submit in time. After the completion of this course, there shall be a proctored examination about which you shall be notified at appropriate time. Dear students, I am sure you will find this course very interesting and enjoyable. Please go through the entire e-content, which includes self-learning videos, e-text and learn more, etc. very thoroughly and perform the various activities and assignments of this course sincerely. I am quite confident that going through this course shall be a great self-learning experience for you. I wish you all the very best.